I'm Tyler, and I work at this fast food joint. Not gonna lie, I'm just trying to get by. Flipping burgers, taking orders, and scraping together enough to pay rent and maybe buy a new pair of shoes that don't have holes in them. It's not much, but it's all I've got. Then there's Mr. Thompson. He owns the place. Let's call it Fast Bite, a chain that's all over town. He's got the whole I'm the boss look down, always wearing these crisp shirts and slick glasses, like he's some corporate mogul. But the truth is, he's no different from any other guy who just happens to own a bunch of fast food spots. And the way he treats us? Yeah, that's where the story gets real. Every quarter, when the sales numbers are good, he loves to remind us about the massive profit margins. We're crushing it, guys, he'll say, all smug, while leaning on the counter and showing off his shiny new car keys. The company made millions last month. My profits are through the roof. I own every restaurant in town. Then he'll pause like he expects us to cheer. But here's the thing. Those profits, they never trickled down to us. Not once did he ever give us a raise or even a bonus. Instead, he'd spend that money on more flashy cars and expensive lunches. I swear, the dude has a different luxury car every month, like he's trying to prove something. And it's not like we don't work hard. Hell, we're running on fumes most days, dealing with rude customers, insane rushes, and doing the same mind-numbing tasks over and over. But Mr. Thompson, he'd show up in his brand new car, all smug, and remind us that if we don't like it, there's always someone else who'll take our place. One day after another speech about how his profits are sky high, I'd had enough. So when do we get a raise for all our hard work, Mr. Thompson? I asked. He just chuckled, shook his head, and said, "You should be grateful to even have a job. Not everyone's as lucky as you." Lucky? Yeah, no. It felt more like we were being taken advantage of. Meanwhile, he was out there flexing, posting pictures of his latest luxury car on Instagram, captioned with stuff like living the dream, Yamashard, blessed. It was enough to make you want to scream. The thing is, I wasn't the only one who felt this way. Everyone in the kitchen was fed up. We were getting burned out. And no matter how hard we worked, it was like we didn't even matter. So I decided it was time to make a change. I pulled Emma aside one night. She'd been with me since the beginning, and she wasn't afraid to speak her mind. "Hey, Emma," I said, "you ever wonder where all this profit goes? Because it sure ain't to us." She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, no kidding. Thompson acts like he's the king of the world just because he owns a few fast food places. It's like he forgets we're the ones who make it run." That's when it hit me. We weren't just workers. We were the engine of his whole empire. Without us, there wouldn't be any profits. It was time we showed him that. So I pitched the idea to the rest of the crew. What if we all just stop working until we get what we deserve? We don't get raises, but he's out here living like he owns the world. It's time we stand up for ourselves. At first they were hesitant, but after a few late-night chats, some secret memes shared in the group chat, and a couple TikToks about how much bosses suck when they're all about profits and never about people, we had a plan. We were going to unionize. We were going to make sure Thompson knew we weren't just going to let him get away with it anymore. So one night, during the busiest shift of the week, when Thompson was sure everything would be running smoothly, every single one of us walked out. We just left. Thompson didn't see it coming. He was outside talking about how he was planning to buy a fifth car when we hit him with it. We all stood there staring him down. "Where are you guys going?" he asked, clearly rattled. "You're making a huge mistake." "We're not working until you give us a living wage," I said, as calmly as I could. "We're tired of hearing about your massive profits while we're barely scraping by. You'll all lose your jobs for this," he threatened, but I just smirked. "Okay, boomer," I said, and the crew behind me laughed. We held out for weeks. Thompson tried everything. Threats, guilt trips, even calling us ungrateful. But he couldn't handle the pressure. The longer we were out, the more customers started noticing. His shiny cars didn't matter when his profits started dropping. Eventually, the place was barely making enough to stay open. Finally, Thompson caved. We came back to work, but it was on our terms. We didn't just get a raise. We got health benefits, paid sick leave, and a wage that actually let us live without choosing between eating or paying bills. Yeah, I'm still flipping burgers, but at least now I'm not being treated.